Why is it that no one prepares you for how quiet marriage becomes after the wedding? There's the ceremony, the celebration, the photos, and then there's Tuesday. Hi, I'm Lydia. This season, I'm sharing the invisible transitions inside marriage. The ones that don't get applause, but they change you anyway. I remember the first few weeks after the wedding. As I said in the previous episodes, our story was different. Long distance, and then getting engaged over the phone, getting the ring 2 days before the wedding. So everything just was a bit different. Same to how I needed to go back to London to finish my second master's degree. No, my first. He needed to go back to Afghanistan because that's where he was deployed by the US Army. So, wow. Welcome to the first few weeks after the wedding. We probably spent only 10 days together after marriage, and it was bye bye, see you soon. That felt very weird. Anyway, excuse me. It was also a time when things were a little unstable, so it was like both of us were walking on some uncharted territory without knowing exactly what was going to happen with the next steps. We knew I had to finish my college, my master's degree. We knew he had to finish his deployment. So we were in this season where, okay, we hope this happens. We hope this doesn't happen. But okay, we are married and that's what's going to happen. So I'm left in Kenya. I think after 10 days he leaves, and maybe after 2 more days I also leave and go back to London. So like there was no, okay, officially we're married and now we're living together. So a little bit of a different scenario there. It was he's in Kuwait and he's in Afghanistan and I'm in London. Excuse me. It was a little bit different though. It was a little bit different because now we were filing our immigration papers. Or mine, he had to file some things for me so I could join him later on in the US after his deployment from where he was back into the US. So we were going to both change locations. I was going back to London, then come back to Kenya. He was going from Kuwait into the US, and so locations were also still very fluid at this moment for both of us. But everything was filed, things were going normal, but things that were inside me, which is why I talk about this, felt very different. Even going back to my room, I had a college dorm room, was very different. I felt like some routines became very different too, because it was like I had to call him at a certain time when I think they had a break or something. So even if I was in class, I felt the pressure. Okay, now I'm his wife. I got to really, really make this work. You know? I felt different. My routines became different. The expectations of myself became different. I felt like if I didn't do certain things in certain ways, I was failing, or I was not meeting the expectations of my role. I don't know if any of you have felt that before. So, first of all, there's a lot of culture that plays into what I'm talking about here. There are, specific things about how you share a space, how you disagree, some cultural expectations, some silences that just accompany certain things. You want to say it, but you don't. You fear not saying it. Or a man should do this culturally, and when you say culturally, there's a lot in there. There's your general, maybe country culture, and then there's, in Kenya, we have some specific tribal cultures. And one to you, if you're maybe from different cultures, we are from the same, so some things did apply. But also there's cultures that might be from the same tribe, but different locations, and some locations, I say locations because I don't have a better word, but some people in northern region of the tribe and southern really have some different cultural expectations as well. So it's a myriad of things. I just thought love would automatically make everything feel secure, but some of these cultural expectations and some of these things that I thought were meant to be in a certain way felt very different, and some level of insecurity started coming in. Once you commit, I think you think that, oh, I'm going to feel settled, man. Anyway, it is what it is. What I also learned is that commitment doesn't remove adjustment, it actually exposes what you're adjusting to. These are two people with two histories, two sets of expectations. I remember what I said: if you did not gel them, if you did not talk about them before, it might be difficult to realize, oh my God, this is what this is exposing. Does he expect me to call because I'm now a wife? Does he expect me to do this because... And then remember, we also have histories. Because we are products of our upbringing, we are products of our environments, we are products of what we have experienced in life. So I, coming from a place, a family where my mom was a very strong personality, and the way we grew up was different from him. We have two different histories, and so we have two sets of expectations of our individual roles as a woman and a man, or as a husband or a wife, and wanting to gel these things might be different. So excuse me, I say this because I have seen it play out so many times, and sometimes I'm like, wow, I wish I took the time to really realize what this transition was going to mean, because it was not just me saying I do. It was not just him asking, will you marry me? It was not just us saying, okay, we are getting married. We were two different people with two different sets of expectations. We have different histories. We just like were in reality not the same person. Well, what I understand now is this: marriage is not just choosing someone, it is learning who you are inside that choice, and learning, and for sure that learning can feel destabilizing before it feels grounding, because you question a few things. Once you're married, you question, oh, excuse me, you question, did I what would have happened if I knew this before? What would have happened if I didn't know that before? How would I have responded if I was not married? How would I, there's a lot of things that go on. So if you watch my previous episode talking about engagement, I hope you understand the need to go deeper into the things that really marriage will expose if you don't talk about them. Well, becoming a wife was not one big moment. It was a series of tiny, quiet transitions. And I didn't always recognize them while they were happening. And even when nothing was wrong, there were moments I felt unexpectedly alone. And that's what I want to talk about next. If this story resonates, subscribe and come back tomorrow. I'm telling this journey in order, one chapter at a time. And the next piece might just be the one that you need most. See you on the next one, where I share the quiet loneliness that really, really surprised me early in the marriage.